Welcome to the channel. Today, I have got a special treat for you. We are hanging out with Ramsri Goutham, who is the AI maestro who has been revolutionizing the way we think about technology. From AI research to launching successful SaaS applications, Ramsri's journey is nothing short of inspiring. He is here to share his insights very generously, his experiences, of course, and maybe even some trade secrets. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the mind of a true innovator here. Let's get started. Ram Siri, it's really great to have you here. To kick things off, could you share a little about how you first got hooked onto computing or AI and what sparked your passion in this field?
Sure. Thanks. First of all, thanks Fahad for inviting me to this. And I've been following your YouTube channel, so it's my pleasure to be here after watching so many videos. And to
Awesome.
get started, so I graduated almost 10 years back, and then I went to masters in US, then took a traditional job. I come from electrical engineering background with a little bit of overlap in signal image processing, but the MOOC online learning revolution took off in 2015 to 2018. So that's when I got onto the learning mode on internet after I finished and I'm working at a job. And through that process, I was witnessing all the things that were happening, whether it is self-driving car revolution or general deep learning taking off and becoming big, etc. So till 2018 I was at a job, so 2013 to 2018 in Silicon Valley. So in 2018 I took a drastic turn to to return back to India randomly. I mean, everything was good, all the visa, etc. So but I wanted to take on a different journey, especially into entrepreneurship and trying to have more freedom for myself to experiment. And since the last 5 6 years I've been on this journey. Nothing for grateful for the opportunities that came along. You need a little bit of luck beyond your hard work. So I'm
Absolutely.
very grateful for the journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Actually I saw your one post on LinkedIn today about that normal life. I think I needed that today. Can you explain that what exactly you meant there? Maybe someone would love it. I'm sure people would love it. Please explain on
Sure,
that
sure.
one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest thing is people keep learning, upgrading themselves, etc. So the journey is endless.
Hmm.
I tell to young people that first they should learn to be happy with the circumstances, happy with themselves. Then success will come along, because a lot of people complain about salary or other things, etc. And I tell them that life in itself is hard. Like I am a
True.
parent to a 3-year-old. My wife works, and I have retired parents. So just balancing life, just balancing retiring parents, their sanity, and visiting them on weekends and keeping them happy. Then of course daily raising the kid, and doing my duties as a husband and things like that. All these things are in itself are huge, right? And when people complain, that's what I think. If you have parents that are still healthy and doing well, and
Yeah.
if you have a happy family where people are just sane, because I've seen so many things in and around where there's someone battling with addictions in life, or
Absolutely.
someone has anger issues. I just feel being average in everything is a blessing in itself. You don't
Totally,
have to
man.
be exceptionally gifted, nothing. Just if you're happy with the things that you have around, just be grateful for that and choose a path, a long term journey that will be passionate for you, and rewards will come itself as long as you're careful and be on the journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. Spot on, man. Absolutely. Golden words. And it- I would just tell you exact the same thing. I read somewhere from Warren Buffett, the who is the
Yeah.
chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. People
Right.
know him due to his wealth, but I think more than that, he is a great thinker. So he said something, and I'm trying to quote him, but not the exact word, that most of us who are living right now in this age have a better life than the kings of like 300, 400 years before. We are living
Perfect.
better than those kings. Anyway, but spot on. Now, you have been working on some of the generative AI firms and generative AI platforms as your day jobs in the past. What does a typical day look like of a generative AI professional? Very few people know about it, so please enlighten us.
Absolutely. I think primarily, of course, generative AI broadly nowadays, you have text generation models, then image generation models, audio generation models. So um, for me, apart from the day job, where the day job, whatever the company demands you, whether it is in image generation or text generation, keeping up with that. Beyond that, I think all the modalities are slowly converging. For example, if you see Gemini Pro, it's almost like multi-modality where
Yeah,
there's a single embedding model for all the things, right? So typically, I try to follow progress in each of these areas, whether it is both open source as well as closed source progress. When I mean companies like 11 Labs or other companies, Playground AI and many Stability AI, commercial, non-commercial release models. So keeping a tab on all these three modalities as well as seeing how the multimodality thing is evolving, whether it is OpenAI, Sora, things like that. One is, learning them at fundamental level, putting some time aside for that to see how architectures are evolving. You don't need to hand code everything and build from the ground up, but
yeah,
just having a high level overview on how architectures are evolving in both multimodality, I mean, individual and multimodal setting. Secondly, what are the commercial applications that are coming out so that either you can benefit yourself as an end user, whether it is increased productivity at work or editing videos or creator content, anything. So I look at it from both the lens, which is from a commercial lens as well as an open source lens, what you can build on top of that, etc. Yeah.
cool stuff. So you are the brains behind Questgen.ai and Supermeme.ai, both incredibly cool applications. Can you tell us what inspired these ideas and the journey to bring them to life?
Absolutely. So 2019 to 2021 period, when OpenAI released their first text generation API, etc. So during that time, I was working on open source text generation models based on T5 transformers earlier in the day. Some built, some on question generation using Squad dataset, etc. But I realized the revolution that was going to happen, because when I tested out whether it is OpenAI models, etc., now it has significantly increased to the point where now you can enable production applications. So in that phase, I closely followed all the text generation, image generation progress. And then again, I was on the creator journey where I wanted to have more free time and be in the entrepreneurship shoes. So for me, it was natural to merge both, where the AI SaaS, now previously people were building SaaS, let's say in 2018, and making money. Now generative AI SaaS is the new evolving field. That's both exciting for me personally as well as from the world standpoint. Now you are adding productivity to everything. So that's when I took this baseline idea of question generation, applied it to edtech sector, and then clubbed generative AI, whether it is Claude AI or OpenAI, and built UI. So I
Yeah,
am a data scientist. So I started with the basic thing. Okay, now I can just build an UI on top of this. Sorry, API on top of this. how can I build UI? I started with no code tools like Bubble, Softer, etc., and built some UI. Then I realized, now ChatGPT and all these things are coming at coding as well. So why don't I, fasten my process and learn Next.js with the help of ChatGPT, build these beautiful interfaces that everyone else is building. So my journey started from just a data scientist who has Google Colab Notebook, somehow able to build API, then one layer above slap some UI on top of the API with no code tools. Now evolve from there to building full stack applications with Next.js and React and databases, whether it is MySQL, Superbase, etc. That too, heavily lifted by AI. Once you give the prompt, now I can test out, etc. So it was almost like I was evolving as one person company along with the generative AI revolution, slowly building on top of that, as well as learning the SaaS fundamentals, whether it is, adding subscriptions with Stripe or authentication, all these things. It it took quite a lot of journey because I was on learning to do it on my own slowly and steadily. But in the end, I think we almost have 600K users for Supermeme and 100K users for Questgen, which is solo by
Wow.
me. And I learned how to do it without any marketing budget, with SEO and founder led, on founder led marketing on social media platforms. That's just improving personal brand. It was quite a bit of, learning experience for me, both on a personal front as well as, commercial front, making these money out of these models. And also I dabbled quite a lot with a lot of things, that is teaching courses, so live cohort based courses as well as recorded courses on Udemy, then SaaS and open source projects and how to monetize them. So through the creator journey, I was finding the most optimal path to, making a survival while being there on generative AI, and making a survival independently without an employer. Because once you, if you
Nice.
can crack that thing, then you have a lot of free time to do your passions and follow your passion and do these things on the side. And finally, at least I would say we have cracked the 100K ARR mark with the
Nice.
two apps combined, which means, at least from a standpoint of financial stability, the apps have reached there, which is good. Now, as you are somewhat familiar with, Telugu LLM Labs was also born out of that freedom. Now that I have some leverage, I can do
Nice.
more open source work, train these cutting edge open source models, Llama 2, Gemma, etc. Fine tune them on, let's say, Indic languages, etc. Yeah,
Beautiful, man. Tell us about that uh, Navarasa
yeah,
2.0, which you have helped to build. I just did a video on it. Amazing model. So people who don't know, it's a instruction tuned SFT based. The base model is Java, but it is just instruction tuned on top of it. And Ramsri has helped it. I think Ravi Teja is a main developer, and he has done a wonderful job. It can translate 15 Indian regional languages plus English at the moment. I have tested it with just 2 billion one. Amazing performance, outstanding. So please tell us your involvement there. How, I mean, what did you do on technical side, and how was the experience?
sure, absolutely. So I think there were few challenges generating text in Indian languages. For example, if you just take OpenAI, one, the tokenizer is costly. That means instead of resolving to individual tokens, it would go to the Unicode byte. So, for example, even I showed a demo where just woman word in Telugu itself is 18 tokens. That means it takes 18x more cost as well as computation time. So 18x more time and 18x more cost to generate something in Indic languages. So there were all these challenges even with closed source models like OpenAI, Claude, etc. Then open source was, even quite behind because there were training sets were low and instruction data sets weren't available, etc. So once the open source models, Llama 2, etc., came out, people started experimenting with that, and they took a different route, which is expanding the tokenizer, training with a lot of Indian language text, for example, a fixed language, Hindi, etc. So token expansion, then training on top of that, and releasing original models where you can ask your question in that native language, Hindi, etc., and get the output response in Hindi. So this research was going on the side in parallel, and it was cumbersome because people had to collect both pre-training data set, that is
Yeah.
because since you're expanding the tokenizer you need a lot of data. Secondly, instruction datasets, that means question and answer datasets. These were not natively available in Indic languages uh, and open sourced. They were not available. So me and Ravi collaborated, and we thought let's start building Telugu LLM labs. Of course, we started with the focus on Telugu, but we expanded to other languages. We thought, why don't we start with translation of these existing English data sets? But let's do some smart translation. That means we already remove things that are, let's say, code specific, because translating code for loops and all those is complicated, and it's not ideal when we translate it to Hindi, etc. So let's filter out the existing English data sets to keep only regional Q&A, then translate them and release these regional instruction datasets. So we started there, and that was step one, because in order to do fine tuning of any model, you need an instruction dataset that is catered to that language. And we started with the datasets, and we started with Llama 2 based models where this token expansion and other things were there. And we released our initial models that that were best at the time.
Yeah.
And once Gemma model came, we realized that the tokenizer is much more efficient, because there are two main things with Google's Gemma model. One is the tokenizer is 256K tokens. It is expanded from, let's say, Llama 2 is 32K. Now with 256K tokenizer, it is able to tokenize most of the Indian languages decently, so that you don't need to do this additional pre-training and token expansion.
Yeah.
We figured that out. Then what happened was, we could operate on the supervised fine tuning, instruction tuning layer. And since Gemma was efficient in all the Indic languages, we converted whatever languages instruction datasets weren't available, we converted to all those, translated to all those languages as well, and we trained our Gemma model and released. So at the end, it's just, you know an open source initiative that was started by me and Ravi, and we wanted to do multiple things, which we are doing this week and later week as well, which is even, let's say, making Gemma models even monolingual. That means, can you strip down the tokenizer from 256K to whatever, let's say 12K or 15K, whatever tokens are available in one language, so that the inference will be fast as well as generation is fast. So basically, we want to ride on the open source models, build index specific models, and also contribute to both datasets, research, fine tune models. When
Awesome
I
stuff.
mean research, even, maybe quantizing the models even further, or making the models monolingual so that you can do inference on even mobile phones, etc. So even on a layer level, transformer layer level, etc., whatever research we could do and experimentation we could do. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Great stuff.
precisely what we are aiming to do. Yeah.
That's very valuable. Thank you so much. That's really very, very helpful. Uh, Just to touch bit more on that SFT side of things. So, for example, um, you trained it. So let's pick one example. Let's pick the language. Let's pick Tamil. So
Yeah.
how did you combine, SFT with Tamil? How did you do it?
Hmm. So, for example, let's take English alpaca dataset. So basically, there are questions and answers. So technically speaking, three things. One is instruction, input, and answer. Now, in order to train a language model to respond to your question, first you need to have a sample question and answer dataset. And let's get to the root of this issue. By that I mean, um, think about going to Quora, and Quora has language specific pages. For example, if you go to hi.quora.com, that is Hindi question and answer. If you go to te.quora.com, that is Telugu question and answer. And the biggest thing is the kind of questions people ask are, very culturally rooted and specific. For example, if you just ask a question like, what do you think about homosexuality in English, the answer will be different. If you translate the same question and ask in Telugu or Hindi or Urdu, the output response by the LLM is completely different, which is contextual. Because if you have asked, since you have asked it in Tamil or Hindi or Urdu, it will even give an answer that is not translation of English. It will give a culturally relevant answer. So we realize that these data sets and translating them is also not enough. We
Yeah,
have started there where we have translated them, but we also filtered quite a lot of them. But you need to actually localize the question and answers. So technically, you need to prepare Quora quality level question and answer data set natively with the cultural references of that language, that region. That is what you need to do. But we try to strike a middle ground because that is it is extensive and you need curation and cost involved. We try to do middle ground with whatever we could do with AI, that is
got it.
translating and filtering them. Now we did that for couple of languages, probably 5 to 10 languages, and there were many other contributors who contributed to those specific languages. So technically, for example, Gemma, this is how it would be. You take the Gemma base model. It is good enough to for the tokenizer. So you just do instruction fine tuning. So instead of giving English instruction input and output, you would translate the alpaca dataset and you would give that, let's say, Tamil instruction written in Tamil language, Tamil input written in Tamil language. Now you will ask it to generate or do the regular next token prediction, train it with this similarly for any other language. Now you can combine, if you have, let's say, 10 days data sets from 10 languages, you can combine all of them, probably get 500,000 instruction data sets, which is combination of all of this,
Got it.
and just train on that. Yeah. But
Awesome.
here there are few other challenges. One more thing to say, which is even evaluation data sets you need to translate. And sometimes you need to make evaluation. For example, if there is grammar evaluation, it doesn't make sense to translate existing ones. So you need to curate original language, grammar, data sets, etc. So there are challenges even in evaluation. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Very, very enlightening. Thank you for that. I think people have learned so much. Now, we have talked enough about AI and technology. I'm very interested to know that what do you do as a hobby other than AI just to keep yourself relaxed and busy? I know you have a 3-year-old, but other than uh,
Yeah.
that, what exactly are your hobbies?
Yeah. So I write a lot. Even as a kid, I used to write quite a lot. For example, poetry in my native language and writing articles, etc. Nowadays, I mostly write online. That is one of the almost every day I write on LinkedIn and Twitter, more or less. Secondly, travel is something very interesting to me. I think I feel that, the fastest way where you need to go through time capsule of history, travel is one, because you port yourself geographically there. Secondly, whatever existing things that are there, you go through the history of the time. If you go to museums, or even if you go to any of the things, war memorials, etc. So travel is one such thing for me, where I love to understand human evolution history, as well as just enjoy all the natural beauty, whether it is snow, landscape, greenery, or beaches, etc. And we make it a point, as a family, me, wife, and kid, every 6 months travel for like 10 days,
That's good.
and switch off from work. And yeah, I mean, so far probably 16 to 18 countries is what I've traveled and
Nice.
counting.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, history.
Which one is a favorite, by the way? Which travel destination?
um, I mean, recent was Kashmir during winter time. I think it is absolutely stunning. Then quite a lot, because I've been to South Africa. It's a different wildlife, is different
Yeah,
game altogether. I've been to Costa Rica, so the dense richness of forest and ecology is different. I've been to Vietnam, where war and
yeah,
American war, etc., and Cambodia, where there was an internal conflict, Pol Pot. So everything is unique in itself. It's like a time capsule that
makes sense.
you unravel. Yeah.
Makes sense. Look, lastly, for anyone watching who is inspired by your journey and wants to follow in your footsteps, what advice will you give them to start in AI?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest thing is keeping up with the AI trend. So mainly people are afraid that they don't know the technology, or even coding by hand, let's say transformers, etc. But to be honest, you can, go top down, where you understand the applications of AI, then you go deeper and understand and try to learn through papers, be able to understand papers, then go one level deeper and probably try and look at the tokenizers, etc. That's one. Secondly, don't be afraid, in the sense that a lot of people, you know, are tied in golden handcuffs, or get more in the comfort zone. For example, in 2018, I just left everything at 28. When I'm 28 years old, without any savings, zero savings, I moved back to India. Just, and I gave a reset to myself to into entrepreneurship. And I mean, I see more people fear whether this will have
Yeah,
ROI, and whether this will give me career trajectory, etc. But I think we are in the age of AI, where everything that needs to be recalibrated, and it will be different from 10 years time, because my kid is going started going to school, and I know that by the time he graduate, we'll live in a new world. uh,
very true.
I don't know whether education as such is, how relevant, whether job is as relevant. It will be a brand new world. The biggest thing is keep tabs on everything, find something that you like, and go long on passion. And other thing is, one of the biggest advice I tell to people is have online presence. Keep writing blog posts, keep writing whatever, even if you learn 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. I mean, my kid is not there, but I will want him to write when he is in third class. Just write that I learned whatever algebra, small things, so that people are aware of your work. And more than everything, it is about consistency, showing up, and one needs to build resilience. As they say, right? Going in the. I mean, if you are chopping a tree, and you have 8 hours, 7 hours you should spend in just sharpening the axe. uh,
Yes.
that's absolutely true, and I fundamentally believe in that. Before actually attacking the task, I spend quite a lot of time in knowing what is the right thing to do. Yeah.
Amazing. Ramsri, it's been an absolute pleasure to delve into your AI world and hear about all the incredible work you have done and still doing. Thanks for sharing your journey and insights with us today. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned, it's absolutely my pleasure. And I keep watching your content, and it blows my mind how you put 2 or 3 videos a day sometimes, because planning, recording, editing, I know how much work it is, because I have a small YouTube channel, probably 3,000 subscribers, and I'm not as diligent as I want to be. So I absolutely know how much work it takes for you. Kudos to you.
Thanks much. And we will definitely put the link to your LinkedIn profile and also your channel in the video's description so people should be able to follow you along. Thanks again.
Thank you.